Starting a little further away from that, on this tree, I've never seen so many spikes. It's all growth. I think this thing is dead, maybe a little partially alive, but full of some massive spikes all up and down the tree. And even its relative has these small branches that make some massive spikes all up and down the tree. I don't know why they do that. These old fences are just no match for trees. Now I could climb over anywhere around here, but a tree fell down, or a branch fell, pulling the fence down, so it's easier to get over. Oh, another fence. Protect the cornfield. I'm not sure, not from deer. And they have an old, probably bought at the same time the fence was put up, this old, whatever, farm equipment thing. A grain collector of some kind. Just sitting out in the forest. Rubber tires that was pulled by a motorized, oh wait, this is maybe a manure spreader. What? Something cleaned off a cob. Something cleaned off a cob of corn. Brought it over here and then cleaned it off. And there's more. They cleaned it off pretty good. I think this is the work of raccoons. I think raccoons are doing that. They can carry things. Not many other, I suppose other animals could carry it in their mouths. Maybe deer are carrying it in their mouths. There's a deer scraping. And there's clear deer trail. So they haven't picked up their corn yet, and it's almost November. They've been eating a lot of corn out here. That's not supposed to be too good for you. You don't want to have just one thing in your diet. Look at that. They brought whatever animal's eating the corn back here. I don't think it's a human. They dropped a cob right on this stump, right on this log. All right, further down, got a pass in between this. It's a single tree. But something happened, caused it to fall. It's so massive. Something happened. It doesn't look burnt from lightning. Somebody was out here logging too on top of everything. Oh, there's a stinging nettle. And you can see there's a bit of a trail. I'm approaching another cornfield and the highway. I know that there's a gas station to my right, so I'm not too far removed from society here. It's just this is what I believe to be all private property, and I hope I don't run into anybody. If I do, they're likely to give me a real hard time. Some pole. Yeah, I think I want to, well, I don't know, follow the trail, I guess. Whoa, must be a fence. I'm glad that was not a trap. Wow. Yeah, whoever planted this cornfield has experienced a lot of loss. And what animal is putting these corn cobs on logs, higher places? I might see some up in some trees. All right, I'm very curious what this purple plant is. I kind of want to call it like a pokeberry. I don't know. It's the most purple plant I've ever seen in amongst all this stinging nettle. Very big, I think maybe because of the fertilizer. Alright, just marking, today is the first time I'm practicing breaking up the grass a little bit by crushing it with both my hands. Just spend a couple of seconds twisting and crushing. It seems to open it up a little bit more. You can see the difference in the appearance. It's darker for the ones that I crush. I don't know if maybe the cold weather is a factor, but I think I might be able to get more juice out of it by crushing it a little bit. Alright, I really like to fill it to the very top, even if I don't boil it all. Grass is free and plentiful. I make my hands a little green in the process, but is that so bad? So I have 2 teapots full of grass I'm going to boil in this cold weather. It's going to take a long time. So I got 1 candle in here going. Should be visible. Just maybe to warm up the car a little bit so I can cook primarily. I wonder if I should maybe go for more candles. Just try to warm up the car, roll up all the windows, get a couple candles going, and then get the propane going. Maybe that could create enough warmth instead of entirely relying on the propane. Alright, at St. Joseph's, and they got closed libraries here, so that's difficult to deal with. Oh, man, it's so hard to set up an office. The door is unlocked. Maybe you can just use the bathroom only. Alright, once again I'm dealing with a different kind of grass. In the northwest part of Missouri, there's this tough grass. Alright, I can still pick it by hand pretty easily, but it's got a different feel to it, so I'm only going to do a pot and then just try a little bit. It looks like it's just like regular grass almost, but it is slightly different from the northern stuff. Holy crap, just walking down this road, there's a lot of trash. There's a lot of trashiness. I walked by this dog. I should have recorded it, but its leash was so long that it could easily reach me. And I stopped and paused, and it made a slight bark. But it didn't come at me. It was shivering. It's so cold out. What a trashy place. I'm a little afraid. Luckily, it's so cold. Keeps people indoors. That's like my advantage for the south, is wait till it gets cold. Have a little bit of a shield of protection. I think I'm approaching a grocery store, but they don't advertise. There's some kind of weird cave people are in.
You can't find way home. You should stop before you web. Oh.
What? I can't understand a word he's saying. Some dude that's crazy, some crazy guy in that weird tunnel. There's a smell of sewage. And it would be funny if sewage smell was coming from the swimming pool. Just a little humor to think about. I think it's empty though, because I did see it when I was pulling in and it looked empty. But there's this sewage smell coming from somewhere. Maybe on the other side of the hill. Because the swimming pool is empty. So I smell the sewage smell over here. not too far from my car. And they must get some massive floods. They have signs educating people on the proper plants that we should support. Oh yeah, that sewage smell is really strong right here. Ooh, it really gets strong coming out of this gate. Whew. Oh man, that's it smells like sewage. It's like they oh man, it's really bad around here. It's like they got open sewers. They're still a little bit behind on that type of development. So it's likely that smell is coming from over here. They just rely on the flooding to wash away all their undesirable stuff. It looks like they recently put all this together. That looks like some new concrete. It could have been an open tunnel, but they decided to put those grates over because they know how the locals are. Like that one guy who's moved into some cave right near in St. Joseph's, and we got some historical spots nearby, quite a few. Okay. Amelia Earhart birthplace in Atchison, Fort Leavenworth. I'm heading in that direction. Buffalo Soldier Monument. There's quite a few nearby. Huh. Oh, a lot for Leavenworth. Alright, so it's an ordinance here in this city. I was wondering about that. They got it all advertised. I think they're kind of happy about that. They even put their logo. They even put their logo on the warning. They're that proud of it. Alright, so I'm hanging my teapot over 3 candles to try to preheat the water before I put it over propane. It might be good. I don't know. It definitely warms things up. Alright, so it takes maybe an hour, but I can preheat. This one is nice and warm. It's not too hot that I can't, well, I can barely touch it, but it's like I can actually sit in my car and preheat, so it takes less time when I'm standing outside of the car, especially when I'm in a high traffic area. It's like you can't see any traffic right now, but cars are just whipping by me in this Walmart park. I walk by a car hop and look at the cars just from the grass side, and there's these temporary license plates that are magnetized on the back. Well, after I got past them, there's this girl that came out of the building and pulled those magnet license plates down. I think she was watching me, and I looked a little suspicious. Alright, so I'm actually going to change out the tire here. I'm going to put this tire on the left side. The tread is pretty low, but it's still got some more miles on it, so switching it is going to be, should be an advantage, but I'm afraid that I might have an issue with alignment. Not sure. Put this spare tire on here, and then switch everything over to the, put this on the other side, and then put that one over here again. I'm not exactly sure how tight it should be, but I'm gonna just try to use the minimum. I think I'm going the right way to loosen it now. Bring it down. I think. It kind of looks like it's going up. Should be lefty-loosey. Maybe, yeah, I think it's lefty-loosey. But actually, this is not a huge advantage. Alright, the tread is really good for the rest of this tire, just not here. And that's on this side of the car. I'm pulling it out, and the tread all around is kind of bad for this tire that I'm putting it on. It's going to put a lot of pressure on here. I really don't have a lot of space on it, actually. But I look at the other tires, and they're really not any much better either. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a new tire pretty quickly in less than 500 miles maybe. I'm just giving it a little bit more life. But this tire looks brand new. Nothing, I don't understand. Well, it's just how things work when you got a broken car. So after a few hours of sitting here, I noticed, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 people would just drive over here and look. Park here for a few minutes and just look, and then take off. Never, so many of them never getting out of their vehicles. Just park right here and look out. I don't understand why so many people, the only reason they came over here, this parking spot area, was just to come over here and look. It is a boat launch ramp. Maybe they're looking to see if anybody went out and went out to fish, possibly. Maybe people like to check that. Alright, so I'm at this southern Walmart of Atchison, Kansas, just north of Kansas City. And I hear a lot of hooping and hollering over here on a Tuesday evening. I don't know what they're all celebrating. Sounds like a sporting event. Then I just passed, well, I was at Walmart and passed through this grassland to get there. But what gets me recording right now is that they have hay bales on a soccer field. They like hayed the soccer field? I've never seen anything like that before. It's kind of a humorous thing to me to see this. Walmart is messed up in the head here. Why do they have a fence all in front? Look at their neighbors. It's a hill. There's nothing else around the Walmart, yet they have to put a fence, an iron fence, like a thick iron fence, all in front. I can't just walk onto the parking lot. What is the deal with this? They lost their heads. This is on the level of that New Mexico Truth or Consequences. New Mexico putting all the I don't know, sun protection stuff in the parking lot. Alright, so I suspect that sitting next to candles might be causing some circulation issues. I'm going to be finding out the hard way. This is like the second time I'm preheating, so I'll find out if my health declines more. If it does, I think I'm going to blame the candles. Because that would make sense. I'm just not really smelling anything. Nothing's really hitting me, making me dizzy immediately. but maybe it takes time. I suspect maybe I'm breathing in like the oils from the candle, because it's when you shake it up a little bit, you'll see a little black tuft of smoke come from it, and that's getting into the air right next to me, and I have to like close the window so I can effectively heat this pot. But maybe this is not a good way to do it in such close quarters. All right, it didn't take long for me to realize that these candles are making me sick. So I can't cook with propane while sitting in the car with it, and I can't burn any candles while sitting in here. Maybe I could light them right before I step out of the car, just for like less than a minute, be exposed to it, and then light the propane up. That way I'll have maybe a little extra warmth to add to the propane. But I gotta stay outside of the car. I can't breathe that in. I can't breathe any of that. There's just nothing I can breathe in that can be burnt. All right, it takes me a lot of strategizing to get a cup of coffee. All right, so let's see if I can figure this out. All right, the carrots are in here. The wild grasses are in here. I want to boil this one up first, pour it into this French press, the large one. I'm only using one because it's large. I want to light the candles. When I'm about ready to step out, I need to put together the propane. There might be enough. I'm not too confident though. So just step by step, I just gotta. I always overstep too. I always skip steps and stuff, so it doesn't always run perfectly. But I hope to in the end get these two boiled up. So I want to make the car airtight by rolling up all the windows to encourage as much heat like sticking as possible. I got 3 candles going to try to increase the heat inside, and then yeah, there's no preheating anymore. I'm not going to be breathing in any of that, but I think there could be maybe some value with trying to heat up the interior of the car for cooking. Propane's getting kind of pricey now, so I want to maybe take a look at candles. They might be cheaper still. It's the first time I've ever seen a warning for waste capacity. So I dumped out another container of popcorn because I just don't prepare popcorn. I boil corn in the French press, but I don't pop it. Popping is kind of a hassle. I tend to burn it too. And I'll get the same nutritional value by the French press making coffee and stuff with it. Coffee and corn. So I dumped the popcorn and I gotta stop buying it. Just not buy it anymore. I'm done with popcorn. It gets caught in my teeth and it's a bit of a problem. Alright, I never recorded my insurance, so this is it. Sun Surety out of Rapid City, South Dakota. And this is in North Dakota, the 10-minute bail bonds run by Joseph Ogdavinis. I paid $250, and that's my address. There's a power number, the power of something, and a little information about what happens. And then there's two copies, and then my address is there again. This is what the bail bondsman gets to know, is your personal address and your date of birth. So I paid $250 the first time, and then I pay half of that just in fees. $125, or over half of that in fees. They really charge a lot of money. And then I have the court date, of course, that's passed. So this is an insurance. The insurance runs it, so it really, a bond is an insurance. And I wonder what, there are certainly more details, because what happens if you die? Who gets that money? Do they just return it to your family, or does by default the government get that? That's something I just don't understand. But if it's an insurance, and you know, even the little details are decided, because insurance agents are sticklers for the detail. All right, and then this is the application for an attorney, a court-appointed attorney, and also, I think, bail, to determine if you should get like a reduction in bail or not. When you plead not guilty, if you plead guilty, then they'll just try you right there on the spot during the arraignment, and then you pay money and go to jail and all of that. But this is the sheet, and it's totally worthless, because it's like, no matter what you put in this box for a court-appointed attorney, they'll deny you. They denied me for like putting $700 or total assets, like $3,000 or $4,000. Do you have checking accounts? If you have any money, they'll deny you, and then they'll just assume that you can have family members who can help out too. It's really amazing that they bother with any paperwork. Why don't they just verbally deny you without filling out anything? You just request it, and then they just say denied. You waste your time filling out this sheet of paper, telling what all you have for income and stuff. Penalty of perjury. So you're held by perjury. You know, they have to trust what you're saying. But I don't know if they really do. There's a chance that the judges don't, regardless if you could be charged with perjury or not. This person's given a challenge. Come and take my guns. Alright, I have little to no reason to not believe that this grass is safe. I've never really seen it before. Nice and thick. Oh, bird poop there. I didn't really notice that before. I've been watching carefully what I've picked. I filled a whole teapot full of bird poop grass, I guess. Now that's kind of rare to see, but I've never seen this type of grass, really. And feeling it and ripping it. It rips easy. It's not exactly a reed. And I put it in my mouth and chewed on it a little bit raw, just to taste it, and it tastes just like grass. So I have no reason to believe it's poisonous. So this should be a good teapot for boiling. I suspect that this grass was intentionally grown here, and it's like next to this fence that has the no trespassing U.S. property. I mean, I'm on the other side, so really it's the park side is planted that grass, possibly. Could it be natural? I'm not too sure. I'll just do one teapot, maybe partial for the other teapot, but I want some variety if I can get it. Right, you see the regular grass, they just mow it, and then over here it looks like they just intentionally put this type of soft grass. It might be like a farm grass. You can just see the line. They did something to intentionally grow this. It's a good grass. I don't want to have too much though. I want more variety. Alright, so today I'm playing with a weird idea. Since the propane is at its lowest right now, it's just barely, I have it all the way up high, it's just giving off the last of its gases. I decided to put these candles underneath. I don't think I can really fit another one under here. They absolutely have to balance at the very least on the metal screws, so I can only put 2 to give it a little extra heat. You know, I could easily set this heater up for the candles. The candles would be primarily for when it's at its lowest point, to add extra heat while I run out of gas. It's always been frustrating to deal with that last half hour of low gas, but the candles actually can turn things around. As long as I move this over, then I could have a third. But when the candles get too low, then they have to stay further away from the dial. So the Atchison city put the Frisbee golf course on a really steep hillside area. Really good for exercise. This would actually make Frisbee golf worth doing. Too many Frisbee golf sections are all flat, and I don't really care for that. They should be mandatory that they're all on hills like this in Atchison. Looks like there's a trail that goes down a little bit closer, and I think this is like a feed mill type of thing. It says there's a trail right here. It's making this whining sound, and it's along the river. The train tracks also follow the Missouri River as well, quite a distance. So walking down to that river is, oh, there's a boat. They probably prevent people from walking straight to the river on this side. Alright, so at this time I just realized that some people left this thing burning. I put a teapot on the wood. We'll see how long it takes to get to boiling. Taking advantage of it because it's free heat, and I did collect some grass, so I'll just do it while I got free heat. These people had a little fire. I didn't smell any smoke or see any. I didn't really look though. Never really had it exposed to flames like this. Well, no, I have with the propane. What am I saying? I've never tried to heat up a teapot with an actual wood fire before. The wood-fired tea. All right, so the fire was just embers this morning. So I went along the wood line and found this tree, and now I'll burn the end of this tree, and as it burns enough, I'll keep pushing it in. It's pretty decent though. I should have a good fire so that I can do some cooking. I think I'd like to do that. Use the free fire. The downside is that it's a little smoky. Even though it's so nice and windy, it's still not here though. Not as bad over back here, so I only want to approach the fire when needed. It's a little bit too much of a flame. I think I need it to be more like coal. It's cool though. It's flamed up from all the twigs I threw in here. A little windy. Alright, so I'm going to try to cook chicken and then heat up this teapot on the coals, on the hot coals. It's so windy. I'm not sure if it'll be successful. I'm just amazed at how big and sharp the spikes are on the wild yam vine. And the reason I know it's a wild yam, look at that, with my glove I can pinch, I can push on it, and I'm actually breaking it. It doesn't affect these gloves. These are great. But I can tell because, well, the leaves up there, all right, and yeah, I think wild yam, well, these are bigger spikes than I've ever seen, actually. All right, they're smaller in Wisconsin, but the good part of it is supposed to be the root. I think I need to dig. This one looks like a very tough one to pull out because you'd be practically trying to dig the tree out. But yeah, I'm interested in it. It's got the saponins, the steroidal saponins, supposed to affect the hormones, which they would affect the testosterone. All right, I pulled as hard as I could, and of course it breaks where the vine meets the root, so I didn't get it. I need a shovel. There's quite a bit of wild yam out here, but I don't really want to parade a shovel around in public. I want to be very discreet. I want like a mid-sized shovel, but not too big. I want to be able to fit it in to the side pack, and it's got to be really strong. Like those hand trowels and for gardening bend, or the one I had bent too easily. I need something that's gonna be able to handle a lot of force. Digging takes a lot of force. Perhaps something like a small piece of rebar, something that's really, really strong. And I don't believe I'll need to dig like a huge hole. I just go for the root. Just loosen up that soil for the roots. I don't exactly need a big trowel. I don't need a wide face. Just like a really strong, like something like the size of a stick, I could just jab in there. All right, this is Jackson Park, walking around the woods, and they had something going on here. There was not always frisbee golf. They had something going on for recreation, and you could see there's the elements of an old bridge here, and it collapsed because of flooding, I guess. But this is the one end. I saw the other end, which got my attention. And then this is the other end. It was a very it looks like it was a very sturdy looking bridge, and it just couldn't hold long enough. The wire, the last elements of it that can survive is the iron, I guess. Maybe it needed a little maintenance, but it broke on the other side, and going into this waterway, which is completely dry. Oh no, there's a little puddle, but I'm sure it's a big raging flood in the springtime that eventually caused this to fail. See these pipes, this end fell, and then there's the other end. It was attached into the ground. There's a little section up there somewhere, and this isn't really even a part of a trail anymore. They just made a new trail. They made a cheaper bridge up further, but I wonder why they even put this here, put all the effort into making such a strong rock bridge. Maybe they expected it to last a lot longer, but it's no match for the environment. All right, near the Missouri River, you can't really access it. on this trail. It's blocked off, only authorized vehicles only, possibly because it's owned by the railroad. But I found this interesting rock. It's very flaky. It's like it's some kind of a rock. I believe it's to be a rock. It doesn't have any smell. Yeah, I believe it to be a rock. Maybe it's like a petrified tree that turned into a rock that breaks so easily. Alright, I think I want to take a chance on this seed. Look at that. And the seeds still stay on, but they rub. Oh wait. Okay, they come off kind of easily. I wonder what kind of seed that is. If it has good value or not. Alright, I feel a little bit better about using candles with this, because not this one now, the gas is, I just realized the gas is at the very end and it's barely putting out. So I put 3 candles. I didn't have to really adjust the location of the knob. The knob is like the biggest concern, and I didn't have to adjust it this time. One issue with using the candles is that the wax will melt a little too much, causing issues with the wick. How about eating mangoes with some pliers? This is great. Much easier to hold on to. Alright, I'm parked over here. A lot of robins. Oh, okay. Alright, so I watched a guy walk out of the male bathroom. I think that might be unlocked. This is the Missouri River. Alright, this train did not blow a train horn. It just relies on its little bell ding. It just relies on its bell ding. It didn't blow a single train blast. Unlike other cities where the trains blast the loudest horn possible. It really comes down to agreements on the city and railroad, between the city and railroad, on whether or not the trains will blast their horn. And I have to say that the communities fail if they let the train horns blast too much. But I mean, that's in contrast to the number of accidents too. Maybe this area has few accidents compared to those border cities on Mexico. So the library only requires masks. That's pretty nice. I think I could do a little work in there. They got Wi-Fi area to sit and plug in. They didn't take all the seats away. I kind of like Atchison. I mean, I was enjoying Jackson Park. This is a retirement city, apparently. So it's pretty nice. You know, Atchison, Kansas, with all the way the houses are and stuff, these tall, elegant houses, remind me a lot of Astoria, Oregon. Both are along a river, the Columbia River for Astoria, and then the Missouri for Atchison. And they have a lot of similarities with like classic looking nice houses. It's kind of neat. Nice, well maintained properties too. If a house is getting abandoned, if a house looks kind of abandoned, a half looks like it's being worked on with construction evidence of a carpenter working. But there's a lot of similarities with the hills and the houses. Like this tall house right here, it's the same style you'd see in the Oregon city.